is Mark Gunn Media.
Hit it!
Welcome to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Mark Gunn. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and not necessarily reflective of anyone or any entity associated with this broadcast. This episode brought to you by Before Your First Gig, an audiobook written by Steve Dustcircle and produced by Mark Gunn Media. If you're a beginning musician, this is a primer that you'll definitely want to hear. Tips and strategies for setting yourself up for live performances and paid gigs. Before Your First Gig by Steve Dustcircle. Available now on iTunes, Audible.com, and Amazon. Before Your First Gig by Steve Dustcircle. Produced by Mark Gunn Media. All right, this episode of the podcast Gunshots Straight from the Hip, music, muse, and my money. So, and this week, we're doing something a little different. We are coming to you from the Dove School of Arts here in Louisville, Kentucky. This is a one-stop shop for anything and everything to do with entertainment, whether it be recording arts and sciences, dance, theater, the whole nine yards. The proprietors are Marcus and Desiree Barker. And the lovely young lady to my left, your right, is, my gosh, one of the most phenomenal singers that I've heard. No. Let me change that. One of the most phenomenal singers that I've heard in a long time. And I can qualify that statement because not only do I do this kind of thing for a living, but I'm also a second-generation musician.
Okay.
First-generation producer.
Okay.
So I've worked with quite a few people locally and regionally. So that and having been a radio station program director, whose job is to pick music. So I know music when I hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jersey girl, done good, Allie Caldwell.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
No, my pleasure. All right, so just to familiarize everybody, because the face looks familiar, you've seen her on The Voice, you've seen her on The Four, and we're going to get into those a little bit. Now, this I do know that, all right, so you are from Jersey.
Yes. And
you're working not too far away from there now in New York.
I actually live in New York, and I'm from Jersey,
Okay. And what was this story I heard about you always knowing you wanted to sing from an early age, right?
I'm sorry, excuse me. I started singing at a very, very young age. My mom, she heard it in me singing around the house because I grew up watching her. She's a singer, a musician, minister. She does it all, dance teacher.
Right.
So, I had that perfect example, to lay down the foundation and to be like that pure, just light of example for me to learn and pick up things. And she heard it in me and started pushing me at a young age. I think the very first time I opened up my mouth to sing, I probably was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I really started like hearing my own voice maybe like at 6 years old, 6, 7.
And that's kind of phenomenal because, young singers will mold themselves after either their favorite artists or, the people they're influenced by, they hear on the radio. Who were some of those influences for you growing up?
Growing up, well, the first kind of music that I heard growing up was gospel music. So I was very much inspired and exposed to the queens like Yolanda Adams, what's her name? Vicki Winans, CeCe Winans, BB Winans, all of these amazing voices that very much inspired me to want to. That's actually where I first heard a powerful voice, Yolanda Adams, and then my mom just basically. Like during our road trips, because we would frequently take like a lot of road trips, and she would start, switching up her music, her little drive-in tunes, and Yolanda Adams would turn into Sade. Oh, nice. And then Sade would turn into Anita Baker, and then that's when everything just started like switching over to. That's when I started to get exposed to the jazz side of things, like the smooth R&B. Right. Music, and that's when I started falling in love with that's when I first heard Whitney Houston. Okay. And I was like mesmerized when I first heard her. And, you know, Shaka Khan, Tina Turner. I think I got exposed to them through my father because he's like a really heavy one. 98.7 Kiss FM was like, big out in Jersey. He would, you know, blast that, you know, like crazy. So he pretty much exposed me to like the Shaka Khan and you know, the Tina Turner and the real R&B side of things, you know. So, yeah.
And that kind of lends itself to the style that you do because it is a kind of a throwback to what real R&B is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. You're growing up, going to school, and you realize that singing isn't paying the bills. So you get your job. You get this job as a dental assistant.
Yeah.
And you have an epiphany one day.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I was at work one day. I was a dental assistant, and my job was to assist my boss while he's you know, doing whatever he's doing inside of a patient's mouth.
Right.
You know, my job was to hold a couple of you know, the utensils that he may have been using or whatever the case may be. I was just holding things, basically assisting him on whatever he needed. And that particular day, while the patient was in the room, I just broke down crying. Like, I honestly wasn't feeling the day when I woke up anyway. Like, I woke up just like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to put on scrubs. Like, I don't want to go to work. You know, it just wasn't making me happy. And I think that was the day where I just like put my foot down. But the way I put my foot down was like in a very dramatic way. Like, I didn't mean to like, you know, I didn't mean to like break down crying like in front of this lady who knows nothing about me. And she mouth wide open, just so concerned, like, oh my God, you know, trying to speak like, are you okay? And he's like looking at me like, this is not the place for you to. He wasn't saying that, but his face was just like, you know, and you know, we stepped out and we had a conversation, and I was just like, literally my exact words to him was, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I called my mom and I told her what happened, and she was pissed.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Girl, are you crazy?
Yeah. She was like, you better find a way to get that job back. But at the end of the day, I was just like, I felt like I was growing into the young lady that I'm supposed to be. And as I'm growing and making these decisions, I'm not about to go another day without doing anything that makes me unhappy. You know what I mean? So I was all about doing what makes me happy and doing what I felt and believed was going to pay my bills and set my future up, you know? And that's what I believed. And whether I had to go out and do it on my own and then, you know, keep going until everybody else believes in it, then I was totally fine with that.
Once again, we are having a conversation with Allie Caldwell, who is in Louisville at the Dove School of the Arts for a very important seminar that's happening called the Driven Music Artist Conference. We'll tell you more about that as we continue with the podcast. So, all right, so you make this, you have this epiphany.
Yeah.
You've decided that, okay, 9 to 5 isn't for me. This is not what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Jobless.
Yeah.
Upset.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, the funny thing was I wasn't upset.
Oh, okay.
I knew that I didn't have a consistent money income.
Right.
But I did have little local gigs to fall back on, you know, that I knew every weekend I can make a nice, you know, little change to pay the little bills that I did have, but it still wasn't going to be able to handle the, you know, half of the rent that I had to pay, you know, things like that. So I still had to figure it out and hustle and find a way to stack my money. So that was when I really started working harder and, you know, going to more places to get my name out there, to add more gigs into my name so I can just start stacking my money. And eventually, you know, I met some amazing people. Then I ran into my manager, Omar, who's here. And, you know, working with him, and we created my first EP, which was my first ever project, Heart of Ballads. And after Heart of Ballads, you know, that just opened up so many doors, you know, a couple of shows. And then we ran into some amazing people who were there that opened up some amazing opportunities to start touring overseas. as a headliner, and that just blew up from there. Like everything just started going wild and crazy once that opportunity came.
And see, you're touching on something that I try to tell a lot of young artists anyway. It is about the grind.
Yeah.
It's about getting the exposure that you need in order to perform locally.
Yeah.
Weekends, weekdays, get as many places as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
And shameless self-promotional plug, this is something I do talk about in the audiobook Before Your First Gig by Steve Dustcircle. It's available on Amazon. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. So we're getting to where we're touring overseas.
Yeah.
And that's something I've always known about us as musicians and the love that we get more so overseas than we do here at home.
It's insane.
Where did you go first, and what was that whole vibe like for you?
The very first place that I toured and headlined was Moscow, Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're back in one piece.
Yeah.
So what was that like? How did that gig come about?
It was, I'm not even gonna lie, I was very nervous and scared to go out there for the first time. But because I've never heard of any stories of anybody that I know that have been out there. So it was kind of like a thing where we were just like, hey, let's just do it. You know, you never know what's gonna come out of it. And we felt pretty good about it, so we did it, and that turned into we've been going back and forth touring for 3 years.
All right, so what kind of stamps do you have on your passport?
Oh my gosh, I'm almost on my second passport now. Yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna make it a big deal too.
Definitely. I mean, I see an album in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The title will come to me in a minute. So Omar, I got you, man. So, all right. So you're basically making a living as a musician.
Yeah, but I will. Let's make something clear, because I feel like what a lot of people don't mention is while you're grinding, a lot of people don't know that there is a struggle. There is a struggle. There is going to be multiple times where you're going to have to figure out how you're going to eat dinner, how you're going to get to where you need to go. And I'm not ashamed to say there were a lot of moments where I didn't know how I was going to pay my phone bill, or I didn't know how I was going to, pay my rent.
Right.
It's moments like that. And I feel like sharing that and putting it out there just it's helping me be able to connect to people who are human just like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything is not all peaches and cream, and it's not easy, not one bit. I have so many stories, but at the end of the day, what's important is you find a way out of that space where it's a struggle. You know, that's the important part. How you yourself figure it out, and I think that's the most important part that people need to understand. It's not all about grinding and going out there and quitting your job and being like, I'm going to do what I love. It ain't that easy. It don't work like that.
No.
So it comes with a price. It comes with a lot of sacrifice, and it comes with a lot of patience. And you just really have to have the perfect mindset, and you have to be built for exactly what you're asking for. Right. Yeah.
I mean, because it's not an easy profession to be in.
No.
And I've seen it on both sides as a musician and as somebody that's in media. Yeah. I see the grind. I know the grind, so I can totally relate.
Yeah.
Once again, we are talking with Allie Caldwell from The Voice and from The Four, who is in here in Louisville at the Dove School of Performing Arts for a very important seminar called the Driven Artist Music Conference. She's sharing some wisdom with us here on the podcast, and you'll be sharing plenty of that wisdom this weekend as well.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about your road to The Voice.
Yeah.
I remember season 11. I remember seeing you on The Voice.
My hair was shorter.
Right. The hair was shorter.
It grew overnight.
Right.
That long.
Industry secret.
Yeah.
And I remember you're blind.
Yeah.
That's the blind audition that each artist goes through. You've got 4 or 3 judges that are sitting in chairs. 4 judges sitting in chairs. They will only hear you. They won't see you. Yeah. Which to me is the best way to listen to new music.
Amazing.
Something about you makes me feel like a dangerous woman. Oh, something about you.
So you go in.
Yeah.
You get a 4-chair turn.
I did.
Adam Levine was the first one to turn.
He was going so hard too.
Oh, so
yeah.
Talk about your whole experience in auditioning, getting to The Voice, and then up to day one.
Well, first, before I even got to The Voice, I would like to share that it was it wasn't an easy decision to go on The Voice because they actually. They, obviously they did their research and they reached out to, my manager and, thought that I would be a great fit, for, I think at first it was season 12. It was season 12 at first. And I think they did some more research and they called back and was like, no, actually, we think you'll be better for season 12.
Okay.
I mean, season 11. So, at first I was totally like, no, I don't want to do no TV show. Like, I don't want to do no singing competition show because my mindset was, I do not like, I don't think artists should be battling against each other. Like, that's just something that I was just like, but why? Like, every artist is an artist. Like, why should we have to fight for, for our future? You know what I mean? And that was just something where I just, at that time, I just didn't quite understand or agree with until I, sat down with my manager. He basically like broke it down and, kind of made me see the light in it. And, once we, after the conversation that we had, everything wasn't so bad and wasn't so negative because I immediately was just like totally scared and just thinking about everything that we've built, from the ground up. And I just was very scared that if I was to win a show like that or if I was to, do something like that, everything that was built or everything that we worked so hard for would just be snatched away or taken away. That was my worst fear. And basically I was just in my head and thinking so much. So, I jumped in and I just did it and I felt like it was the best decision of my life. Sometimes when you just let go and just do it, you never know what's going to happen. So I did it and had no idea what was going to happen. Got a 4-chair turn. Adam, I felt like, honestly, I don't know who turned their chair first because I was so in the moment.
Yeah.
But after everything was over, that was when I started to see who was going so hard, for me. And everybody was like, literally Miley was standing on her seat.
Right.
Adam was like at the edge of the stage, like just waiting to. So everybody was just really showing me so much love, and it was very hard to make my decision. I was super torn between Adam and Miley.
Right.
But already made up in my mind who I wanted to pick before I even sang my song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So I picked Miley because I just wanted to do something different, and I didn't want to be, so typical because everybody looks at me and they're like, oh, she's this R&B powerhouse.
Right.
So the entire world thought that I was going to pick Alicia Keys, because we're more close, as far as genre and style of singing and music. But I was like, I want to learn something different. I want to do something different. I want to leave there with a whole new knowledge of music. And I felt like my gut was telling me that Miley was the one. And
see, and personally, I was hoping that you would go with Adam.
Yeah. I almost did.
Because
he almost sold me.
He and I we're kind of on the same space when it comes to the way we hear music. And it's like we'll hear something and I'm already producing something in the back of my mind. And you're right, going with Miley was a good choice because you ended up being the last woman standing on her team.
I sure was.
All right, so you go through The Voice.
Yeah.
And not very much long after, you end up on The 4.
Yeah.
Let's bring out our next challenger.
My name is Allie Caldwell. I'm from New Jersey. I traveled around the world to get here to the 4, and I'm not leaving here without one of those seats.
Now, how did that happen?
It's so crazy because the 4 reached out to us too, and basically the same kind of story like The Voice, and I was just swearing up and down like I'm not doing no more singing competition shows after The Voice. Like I'm done.
Right.
You know, and I was just like, why would I do another singing competition show right after I just did The Voice? But then we started doing our research to see what the difference was between the two, and you know how this could benefit me as an artist, and you know what good will come out of it. And you know, we did our research. Eventually I was just like, all right, you know, if anything, it's not going to hurt my career.
Right.
It will help, you know, my career, and it will help grow my fan base, and I'll be able to meet some amazing people while on this journey. So I basically just like pushed any kind of scared or negative feelings to the side and just thought only in a positive light about it. And I just jumped out the window and I did it.
See, and there was a change in between The Voice and the 4.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to go back to something you were asking yourself about why it is that that singers and musicians have to compete with each other.
Yeah.
I saw a totally different Allie Caldwell on the 4.
Yeah.
I saw somebody that was, as Puffy said, ready to eat.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it was the title of the title of the show that not only, I don't want to say had me in that character, but just it had me in the mood that I was in while filming that show, because it felt so real. It felt like a real battle. It felt like I was out on the battlefield. I felt like I was in the lion's den. Like that's how I felt, you know? And every single feeling and everything that you saw was real. It was not put on. It was me literally you know, showing the world and showing my fans, and, you know, anybody who's watching that, you know, that I may inspire and may not even know that, you know, you fight for what you love. And so many people fight for what they love in different ways.
Right.
Some people fight for what they love in a very extra and over the top way. And some people fight for what they love and be very serious about it. And it's not a game. And I'm one of those people. Like, I'm not going on national television to play around or to joke. Like, this is my future that we're talking about, you know? So I'm going to always make sure that everything that I do is with class, is with grace, is with professionalism, and making sure that I always show everybody who follows me and who believes in me that I'm very serious about my craft. And
speaking of following, AllieCaldwellMusic.com, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. We are talking with Allie Caldwell, who is in Louisville for the Driven Artist Conference. I've got some observations because I did, in getting ready for our conversation, I did something that I normally do as far as the way that I research.
Yeah.
I've got some observations that I'm going to share with you in just a second.
Okay.
More of Gunshots Straight from the Hip right after this.
If you're an advertiser, one of the most important things about getting your message out is actually standing out from the rest of the crowd. If you're listening to this program right now, this is where you'd hear your commercial. As an exclusive sponsor of Gunshots Straight from the Hip, your commercial is professionally produced and gets a longer shelf life based on your needs. Gunshots Straight from the Hip is a unique and compelling program unlike anything else in the marketplace. Episodes are available for download on iTunes, TuneIn, and MarkGunMedia.com. And depending on how you tailor your message, the potential for new and repeat customers is that much greater. Best of all, it's extremely cost-effective. If you'd like more information on how you can be a sponsor of this broadcast, call Mark Gun Media, Inc. at 502-407-0283. That's 502-407-0283. Or log on to markgunmedia.com. For downloads of this and past episodes and information about all the multimedia services we offer, log on to our website at www.markgunmedia.com. That's markgunmedia.com.
Welcome back to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. Music, muse, and my money. We are kicking it with Ali Caldwell from The Voice and The Four, who is going to be here in Louisville for the Driven Artist Conference being put on by the Dove School of the Arts. The Dove School is a one-stop shop for anybody that wants to learn the business of the music business. And Marcus and Desiree Barker are the proprietors. As a matter of fact, just check out my website, markgunmedia.com. We'll give you more details about that and more details about the conference that's coming up. Now, before the break, I was talking about some observations that I made in preparation for our conversation.
Yeah.
So what I did while doing the dishes is I went through all of your performances from both The Voice and The Four.
Yeah.
And I did it with my producers here. And the reason I did that is because, okay, yeah, I'm going to be talking with Ali Caldwell. I'm excited about that. But I really wanted to get to know you as an artist.
Yeah.
Who is this woman and why does she make some of the decisions that she makes? So one of the things that I came away with during both of those competitions, and this is something that is so important for artists that are just getting started or even if you've been in the game for a while, competing or not. You are one of the more intelligent artists that I've run across in that your song choices from night one of The Voice to the last night that you were on The Four were among the smartest that I've ever heard, because each song that you chose, in my mind, lets me know that, okay, Ali Caldwell knows who she is as an artist.
Yeah.
And how do you go about choosing? I mean, and even with the new song that you have out now, we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
The choices that you make have been uncanny. What is your thought process or your feeling process even for the music that you chose and the music that you choose to do?
Well, first, on The Voice, this is, a lot of people don't know, like, the process of how, it all happens when it comes to choosing music. So the process is, in the very beginning, they ask you to put literally, there's like a list of maybe 100 and something songs that you have to choose. I think it was 20 from, and I literally looked through that whole entire, and also they had like extra space for songs that you don't see that you would like to do on the show. So I found a couple that was in their, in their options, and also I added some that I didn't see. So at the end of the day, like when you start the show, like they pick your audition song. I didn't pick my audition song for The Voice, and that was my first time ever hearing that Ariana Grande song. But the beautiful thing about it is you can they allow you to voice your opinion about what you think about the song. So they introduce you to the song and they say, hey, we think that you would kill this song. We think this should be your audition song. And then you have a moment to say, I don't know. I'm not sure. Right. But you also have artists that don't know how to voice their opinion and they think they're stuck with that song and then they go out there unhappy with the song and don't represent themselves right as an artist. And you have the artists that are like, if I am not comfortable with it, I'm not going to be scared to voice my opinion, know? So when I first heard that song, even though me never hearing it before, I thought it was an amazing song. I heard the potential in it. I heard what I can do with it as an artist, how I can, bring Ali Caldwell through it. And I was like, I would absolutely love to do this song. So, and, throughout the process, it's really like a team effort. It's never a situation where they're like, here, this is the song that you're singing and that's it. And you have to deal with it, So that's the beautiful thing about it. But I feel like on both occasions, it was a team effort. On some performances, like on The Four, I definitely chose to do the Somebody Loves You by Patty.
Yes.
They originally brought up Patty. And wanted me to do If Only You Knew. But I wanted to dig deeper. I was like, there has to be something that is like deeper than, I didn't want to settle for that. So something told me to take a little bit more time and think a little bit more and, came up with somebody loves you. But, you know, like I said, it was like on both ends, it was a team effort. But when it comes to like my original music and how I hear music in general, and just how I think people should like take music in, I feel like it should be timeless. I feel like people should never get tired of the music that you create, and that's for any artist. When you're creating, you want to think, how will this sound 10 to 15 to 20 years from now? Like the people, the younger generation, can they still respect it and love it? You know, even the older generation, like right now at this very moment, can they love and respect it? You got to think about everybody, and as well as yourself, and how it feels and how it would feel to everybody, you know? So it's really a thought process, and you really got to think hard rather than just hearing something and going in the studio and just recording it and pushing it out, and it's only lasting for a moment. Like moment music is not the goal.
Right, exactly.
Timeless music, forever music is my goal. So that's my strategy, like when I go in and create my music.
Or another way to put it is, why is it that the reaction you get from somebody playing Frankie Beverly and Maze is different from the reaction you get from somebody playing Migos? 20 years later.
Taste.
No, everybody has different tastes, but it's part of the thing that I run into as a program director.
Yeah.
Is that so much of the music is just so disposable. Yeah. And as a musician, that hurts.
Yeah.
Because even though the song may not have to be timeless, you want that to be that way.
Absolutely.
You at least want it to be A, good.
Yeah.
And B, to invoke some type of emotion when you hear it. One of the parameters that I used to use in choosing music for a radio station was, is it that aw damn factor? Will I hear a song and go, oh, damn. Yeah. Do I get the screw face?
Yeah.
Or, am I feeling some type of way when I hear that song?
Yeah.
And if I don't get at least one of those, then I'm like,
that's me. Me personally, I believe music is a feeling. Music is feeling. Like music can be sound to somebody.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I cracked her up with Amigos kind of.
I'm sorry. I was being distracted back there. Yeah, music is feeling to me. Like if somebody was to ask me, what's the definition of music to you? Music is a feeling. Like if I don't get goosebumps when I hear when I hear a certain song, or if somebody puts on music and it doesn't make me want to just like rock back and forth, or just put me in this space in this energy where I don't want to leave, that's not music to me. And that's my definition of music. So when I create music, when I listen to music, I just feel like you have to feel something. If you don't feel anything, you can hear music and be like, oh, that sounds great all day.
Right.
But what is it doing? Where's my goosebumps? Like, what is it doing for me? Like 10 years down the line, am I going to want to press play on that? Like, am I going to want to...
Exactly.
Like, am I going to remember it? Is it going to be, something that I want to play for my future kids? Like, these are the things that I think about when it comes to music. And I think I'm going to forever be thinking about music like that.
We're right here. We're right here. And once again, we are chatting with Allie Caldwell, who's in Louisville for the Driven Artist Conference. AllieCaldwellMusic.com. And speaking of your music, let's talk about the website. Let's talk about, there's an EP that's online already. And then there's a new music video that was recently released.
It is.
And tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. So so what? I just got blank. My mind just went black.
All right, so we're talking about the new music video.
The new music video, but you said something before that.
Oh, I saw some information about some previous stuff that you had done.
Yes. Okay. So, speaking of my music, of course, I mentioned the EP that I've done.
Yes.
Heart of Ballads, but definitely working on a new album right now called 88. and I'll be releasing my second single from that album very soon. Hopefully we're looking at next month. I hope.
Okay.
But it's called Colors, and it's a very beautiful song. It's basically, this song is basically, I really, my goal is to have people open up their eyes and see more to us than just what society,
right.
Says beauty is. Just see more to humans than just black and white. There's so much beauty in color, and there's so much more to life than just this or that. So it can be looked at. The song can be looked at in so many different ways, but it's basically celebrating unity and the beautifulness in everyone, and just celebrating how everyone is so uniquely beautiful. And it's a very positive song, and it's upbeat and it's fun, and I'm very, very excited to drop it. I've never released a upbeat song. This will be my first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this album is really going to showcase a side to me that the fans have never seen before. So I'm very excited about it. But To Be Loved was my first single.
Yes.
That's that came out, that's definitely going to be on the album 88. But we released that last Valentine's Day, I believe.
Oh, what I'm feeling to be loved by you, to be loved, a love that's true, to be loved, to be loved, what it really means to be loved.
And we shot the video while I was out on tour in Slovakia on the Bratislava Castle.
Beautifully shot too. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out on the website.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that I admire about you, because you're going against the grain, and this is something that I tell a lot of artists that are trying to get into the business: own everything that you do.
Yeah.
Control everything that you do.
Yeah.
So you have your own imprint, your own label, pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I officially can say that I have my own label. That's insane. Like, every time that I say it, I can't even, I don't know. It just doesn't feel real. Even when we officially, locked that in, I was just so blown away. The guy was looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just so deer stuck in the headlights. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But yes, I have my own company / label. It's called Tomorrow Media / Tomorrow Music, and partners with my manager Omar O2. And we're very, very proud. We work super hard for everything that we do, everything that we build, and as a independent group partners, I feel like we represent that name independent the best way that we can, and I'm very, very, very proud, and I can't wait to see where we're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to be insane. So I'm very, very happy about it.
And the wonderful thing about this is you're already ahead of the curve when it comes to the current music business model.
Yeah.
One of my biggest criticisms about the record industry, and y'all know I've said this to you before, is that you're operating on a losing model that no longer works. You're behind the 8 ball, and so they're trying to make up for it by signing artists to these god-awful 360 deals. 360 deal, look it up on the website. I'll tell you more about that during the seminar. Something you should definitely stay away from, which is why you got to own your own stuff. So you've got control over everything. You can manage your career at your pace, make the decisions that you need to make.
You want to know something? I had this conversation with my manager the other day, and I'm just like, it's so strange to me how us as artists, we're supposed to be the creatives. We're supposed to show the world who we are as artists, what makes us an artist. But when you have someone else, multiple people, doing for you, planning for you, dressing you, telling you what to sing, basically doing everything for you, how does that make you an artist?
Right.
Where's your creative part? What makes you creative? How can you even hold that title of being an artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's easy for somebody to just get a mic and go out there and perform. But if you're an artist actually doing the work, putting in the work for your artistry, and you can honestly say, I have a lot to do with da 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 da, with the help of others who have, you know, the credentials and the resume to do what they do. Not knocking, saying that you can do everything on your own, because you can't. But I'm saying, be an artist. Like, step in your artistry, live in that artistry, show your creativity, and don't be afraid to be verbal and, you know, let people know this is who I am as an artist. Like, that's not who I am. No, I don't want to wear that. No, I don't want to sing that. No, blah, 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 blah. So I think it's very important to, you know, stand firm in your artistry, and because that's what it's all about.
Right.
You know, being creative, letting it all out. You know, that's what the definition of an artist is.
And if you want to get corporate about it, this is your brand.
Absolutely.
Okay? You have to manage, protect, cultivate that brand at all costs.
Yeah.
And only you're going to be the ones that end up doing it. So there you go. Very sage advice.
And you also have to have a team of people who believe in the vision. If they don't believe, first of all, who believe in you first.
Right.
Because first and foremost, if they don't believe in you as an artist, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is there to build off of if they don't have an actual artist to believe in? Where if there's no belief in you, there's no vision of a future.
Right.
You know, so I feel like it's very important to have a team of people, whether it be small, 1 to 2 people, whatever it is. I feel like it's very important for those people to believe in you first, to believe in the vision, and to help take you to the next level and to the next level and beyond. You know, it's very important.
And, you know, with that, because there's a lot more wisdom to be imparted during the Driven Artist Conference, it's going to be held by the Dove Arts, so the Dove, the Dove School of the Arts here in Louisville. Allie Caldwell is going to be performing. You are going to be a keynote speaker. There's seminars, just a lot of information that we're going to pass along to you. I'm even going to be doing a seminar.
Hey.
So, you know, if you want to get this knowledge, because we've got it for you, just go online to the doveschoolofthearts.com. They've got that information there. AllieCaldwellMusic.com, MarkDunmedia.com. And where else can folks find you on social media?
On my Instagram, I am Allie Caldwell, and that's IamAlicaldwell. And Twitter is the same name. And my Facebook is Allie Caldwell Music. And instead of following, you just have to press the like button, because I only have a fan page on Facebook. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And social media is a huge part of your presence as an artist. So you know, y'all listen.
And I respond a lot on my socials. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey girl, hey.
Okay, well, I want to officially welcome you to Louisville, and
thank
you for spending this time chatting with us. I know you've had a long, long day.
Oh yes, long busy day, but loved it. So much fun.
And we are so happy to have you here. I'm going to be following your progress, because, like I said, you know, I listen to things with a producer's ear. Yeah. And you never know. I may be hitting Omar up. I got this idea. You could tell me to shut up, but here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I'm thinking. So if you want more information, again, log on to her website, log on to my website, log on to the school's website. And this episode, as well as past episodes of the podcast, are available for download right now. It's Gunshots, straight from the hip.
You've been listening to Gunshots, straight from the hip. The views expressed are those of the host and guests and not reflective of any business entity or anyone associated with this broadcast. If you have any comments or want more information on how to be a sponsor, log on to our website at markgunmedia.com or call us at 502-407-0283. That's 502-407-0283. Thank you for listening.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.